following episode contains language and descriptions of violence and self-harm. It may not be appropriate for all listeners, but it was my life. Discretion is advised. What up, what up? Welcome back to another episode of Roll Call with Chappie. I have an awesome guest for you guys once again, so I'm going to let you introduce yourself, Mr. Matt Cable, though. So tell everybody your social medias and stuff and how to find you.
Hi, guys. My name is Matt Cable. You can find me at Instagram as MattCable_. On Facebook, it's just Matt Cable. It'll come up. Twitter, I don't really use it, but I think it's like
but you got
Matt
it?
Cable_ or something like that, yeah. I mean, I'll start twittering.
Cool. All right, man. So you have an incredible story, and I always like to get into how people got to their certain circumstances, man. So how was life growing up as Matt Cable?
Life growing up, man. Well, when I was a little baby, I guess I was pretty crazy. I was all over the place.
You were smaller than this, right, when you were a baby?
A little bit. A little bit. A little bit.
I can't believe I had two dudes in my own studio show me up on size, dude. You and Dale B last week are some tanks, bro.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. My son is like spitting image of me. He's such a little chunker. He's like 7 months, 25 pounds, just crazy.
Wow.
Just a big dude. I'm like, wow, man, I'm going to have fun training with you.
Yeah, for
You're going to show me up when you're 10. But no, so growing up, man, I was always in sports. My parents didn't know what to do with me, so they threw me in sports. I started judo pretty young, and I played soccer. And then I don't think I, padded up and played football until middle school. Same with wrestling. Wrestling and football was middle school. But man, were
you big back then or no? Because you might be the biggest soccer player I've ever seen.
I think I was always like pretty decent size,
okay.
Man. Yeah, just my good genetics.
Good genetics,
man.
Yeah.
But yeah. So high school, I was a 5-sport athlete. That included football, wrestling, baseball, track.
Okay.
Track and field.
What'd you run in track?
Powerlifting. I was a sprinter, actually.
Really?
1 and 2.
No
One and
way.
2 of my sports still are, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this guy running down a track. Let's go.
It's hilarious, yeah. What do you weigh, dude? You're huge.
225.
Wow. And you're what, 6 feet tall?
About, 5'11".
Okay.
So,
about 4% body fat?
You know.
Six, maybe.
I hang around a healthy 8 just because I don't want to get too shredded. I guess I want to have some body fat.
Yeah, I don't want to be too shredded,
for when I.
I'm trying to keep some body fat on me too. That's why my love handles look like this.
Awesome, man. But yeah, my 2 main sports in high school, I think that I really enjoyed the most was football and wrestling.
Okay.
Both of those, you got to have a really strong mindset. I think that's what kind of helped me. Through my battles growing up. But coming out of high school, I took a year off. Didn't know what I wanted to do. My parents had divorced at a young age for me.
Like how old?
I was about 9.
Okay, mine was like 10 when mine divorced.
Yeah. So I mean, growing up, it was different. I had my mom, very loving. She just didn't know much about sports or all she did was work. So she worked. And my dad, I saw him like once a year. For maybe like 2 weeks. It was kind of like a big like vacation. Just go see dad. And then he saved up, for the whole year so we can go do some fun stuff. And me, myself and my brother. That's cool. But growing up without like a father figure, it's kind of hard, man. It's you just don't know, guidance,
For sure.
So I did what I could, for whatever reason I stayed in sports. It's not like I had anyone pushing me to do sports. It was something I really, really enjoyed and loved doing. I tried to push my younger brother into sports for whatever reason. He wasn't having it, man. He was the gamer, But like I said, man, when you don't have guidance, like a mentor growing up, it's hard.
For sure.
So I guess I did what I could. I wanted him to, I don't necessarily be like me, but wanted him to get into sports. And then when he finally got into sports, he was pretty old and he wished he did it at a younger age.
Yeah.
But no, after high school, I actually took a year off, and then I I actually wrestled in college at the University of Great Falls, which is in Great Falls, Montana. It's a private Catholic.
Okay.
I got a scholarship for wrestling, and so I wrestled for 2 years. I enjoyed it, but wrestling is the kind of sport that you have to love it. It has to be the only thing you think about. It has to be in your heart, engraved. And I had other things I wanted to do. I wanted to start my career already. I was like, man, I just want to start my career already. So that's how I joined the military. I was like, man.
See, I didn't know that you were in the military.
Yeah, actually, I just retired, medically retired.
No,
officially,
thank you
June
for your service
21st.
officially.
Thank you. Yeah, it's different, but it's also a lot of weight lifted off my shoulders, mine and my family's, just because you know, now I'm not tied down to the military, and now I'm retired, and I can do what I want to do and go chase whatever goals I have.
For sure.
And so they took care of me the whole time I was in, and they still are taking care of me. So it's definitely a blessing.
Okay.
Also, just everything I went through. But yeah, so 2 years in college, and I was like, man, I was studying criminal justice.
Okay.
Wanted to be a cop, and instead I was like, you know what? Let's speed this up. I'll become a cop in the military.
Okay.
So that's what I did. Went in training, went to BMT tech school. And I was about 20, 21, I think.
Where's this at? Where'd you grow up?
Great Falls, Montana.
Okay.
So Montana boy. But I was kind of all over too. Like before my parents divorced, I was in Hawaii for a couple years. From Hawaii, parents divorced, moved back to Montana. And then
That'd be quite the culture shock leaving from Hawaii to Montana as a kid.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah. I was.
You're like, where's the beach?
Exactly. Now, obviously, I was in Montana for so long. I'm like, get me out of here.
Yeah,
I want the warmth. We're actually moving to Florida here in a couple weeks.
Are you really?
So yeah.
Wow, I'm glad I got you in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wife is from Florida.
Okay.
She's born in St. Pete, and so we'll be moving around the area, maybe North Tampa area. Nice. But yeah, now it's time for beaches and beach towns, beaches, and just warm weather and
for sure
humidity. I like to walk outside and just instantly get out of the shower.
Sweat on? Yeah.
Actually, yeah. So just
that's how Summer Smash.
Quick
was.
shower.
You didn't go to Summer Smash, huh?
No, I wasn't out there.
That's what it was. That was going on, hands down the worst weather I've ever been in my entire life.
Oh, over Missouri?
Dude, I walked outside. I wanted to fight people. It's taking 4 steps. Like literally, yeah.
No, it's funny. Look, first one. I didn't even plan that. I was like, first one, let's go.
I almost called you to make sure we didn't end up wearing the same T-shirt or something like that.
That's funny, dude. We should have wore the same shirt.
Twinsies.
Twinsies. I love it.
All right. So how the military policing go?
It was good, man. So yeah, I was in the Air National Guard, and I almost immediately went on active duty orders. So I worked at the 120th Air National Guard, and also security forces at the Malmstrom Air Force Base, which is the active duty base at Great Falls, Montana. And I was doing that. That was my full-time job, that, and trying to train. And I was 21 when I first joined in, and then a couple of years go by, and I'm still doing it and enjoying it, and just kind of training, trying to get my life, figured out what I want to do.
You weren't training for anything, right? You're just training.
No, I was just training, man. Yeah. In 2014, I was one day, man. I was working like a 14-hour shift, 15-hour shift, and I noticed my body was getting achy, really, really achy. And I was like, I'm just, working out hard, so I'm just sore, or whatever. So a couple weeks go by, I'm like, still really freaking sore. What the heck's going on? And I was getting like tired really easy, so like muscle fatigued. And eventually I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to the doctor and see what's going on.
And you're what, 24 at this time?
Yeah, 21. Oh no, 23. Sorry, 23.
Okay.
And I went to the ER and they did a bunch of tests, and they're like, yeah, it's nothing. You got like a neck infection or something. That's what they told me. And I'm like, oh, take some Advil. Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Sounds like a prison doctor.
Yeah.
Here's some ibuprofen if you have a flu or whatever you got.
Right? Oh man, ibuprofen, let's go. So I went home that night. I'm like, I don't feel good, man. I don't know what's going on. Nothing's helping, I'm like, fuck it. It's a neck infection. Let's go work out or whatever. Yeah. And next day when he went to the gym, whatever, tried to do what I could. And man, I was like having these crazy night sweats where like I wake up and the whole bed's just drenched. I was like, this is disgusting. And I literally, it was funny. I was just always drinking. I was drinking everything. It was water. I had like probably like 20 bottles of water on the side of my bed. I would just drank them all. And it was funny. The girl was the girl I was dating at the time. She was like, "You're drinking too much water." I'm like, what?
Is that a thing?
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
I don't know how. Whatever. Anyways, so I started to get like a sore throat on top of everything else I was going through. I'm like, man, I'm getting like a sore throat now. So I went to this is a military doctor I went to go see this time. Okay. And he's like, yeah, you got strep throat. Didn't even test me. He's like, yeah, strep throat. Like he like did like the swab and he was like, oh, you got strep throat. Didn't even like run a test. You got strep. Oh, okay. So they gave me some antibiotics and I'm like, all right. So I started taking some antibiotics and I think 2 days later I'm like, now I can't breathe out of both nostrils. I'm like,
no way.
Yeah, like it was like this nasty sinus
infection.
infection.
Happened that quick?
Yeah, it's like that. All in like 1 month, just fucking boom. And I'm like, I can't breathe now.
Were you big at this point too?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, training hard, and I would go to the gym, and I take pre-workout, and I get there, I'm just like, I'm not motivated anymore. You know, I was like, motivation was not there, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna go home. So I just went home, like, I don't feel that good. I'm just gonna go home. Fuck it. Like, I look good enough, or whatever. You know,
for sure.
You know, as a 23-year-old, you're like, whatever. So after I couldn't breathe, I'm like, this is fucking crazy. So like, the next day, it was my buddy's fantasy football draft, and I wore my Peyton Manning jersey because I'm a diehard Bronco fan. He's a Bronco. I was like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. So I got David Dizenfante coming out here next week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're going 2 Super Bowls with John Elway. Yeah,
dude, let's go.
He's a local guy. He's my buddy.
Okay, good shit, man. So, I get to the draft. Everyone's partying and whatnot. I'm just like chilling, just trying to just get through it. And like halfway through, like my picks, I'm like, oh man, like my head hurt. I couldn't even keep my eyes open because it was so bright out, and it was almost nighttime. I'm like, wow, it's so bright outside. It was dark.
Yeah.
And I was like, I couldn't keep my head up. I was like, man, I like told my buddy who brought me. I was like, bro, I gotta get out of here, man. I think I gotta go to ER or something, man. I gotta see what's going on. And so he took me back to my vehicle.
How stressful is that, not even knowing what's going on too?
It was so weird, man, because you don't know. Yeah. You don't know what the fuck's going on. And
Were you starting to panic a little bit at this time, or no? Are you still? There's no way you think you're gonna have cancer, but like,
you know what's funny is, so I call my mom, and I'm like, Mom, I don't feel good at all. Like, can I come pick you up and go to the doctor? And she's like, oh yeah, of course. So I went and picked her up, and I was driving her. I stopped at a stop sign, and I was like, Mom, what if I have cancer, or something like that? I said, Mom, what if I like have cancer? She's like, well, we're gonna find out. I'm like, yeah, we are. So drove to the ER, and immediately they kind of knew my story. They're like, well, he's been here like a couple times in the last month,
Damn.
We better blood test him.
Now we gotta start doing some tests, actually, huh?
Yeah, so they drew my blood, and when they're
like, the ibuprofen trick didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work, man. Dang it.
Yeah.
But no, they drew my blood, and they were like, your white blood cells are 6 times normal, what they're supposed to be. And I'm like, ooh, that's not good. So they were like asking all these questions, like, they're like, by the time I answer all these questions, they're like, all right, so it's either HIV or it's cancer. I'm like,
Jesus,
which one do I want?
A couple good options.
And
right there.
Yeah, I know. My mom was like, you can't just. She's like freaked out. You can't just tell him that. What the? And then like the doctor walked out of the room, and she followed, and the doctor was like, we're pretty sure it's cancer, blah, whatever they said. And in my head, I'm like, how the hell would I get HIV? How the fuck? So and I'm like, cancer, like.
Yeah.
So, like you're sitting there.
I literally don't know which one is better.
Yeah, and you're sitting there in the bed. You're like, well, can I have neither of them?
Yeah.
Like, let's just wait. Maybe it's neither, because you don't know. You never been through something crazy. Or you're like, this is fake. This isn't happening. And so like 20 minutes go by, and I had my brother in the room, and my mom was next to me too. And the doctor came in and turned the TV off, and he's like, obviously turned TV off. Like, all right, this is serious.
Yeah.
Doctor's like, well, we're 99% sure that it's leukemia. And we're just sitting there, just like, I'm just like, kind of like not knowing. I was like, what is leukemia? I was like, what is it? My mom starts crying. My brother like turns pale white, and like, I'm just like, well, I guess I got to beat it. And so
that was your thought?
Or yeah, it was like immediately this.
Because I feel like it's almost like the same. I would have had the same thoughts as me getting sentenced to 12 years in prison. You're like, shit, my life's over. You know what I mean?
It's got to beat it, man.
Your thought was, I got to beat it?
Yep. And
I didn't learn to have that in me until like later on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. Man, just I guess that's the only thing you can do,
Sure.
And so they admitted me that night. So once I was admitted, I had nurses and whatnot come up and do a bunch of tests with me. And so I'm just sitting there, obviously couldn't get a lick of sleep. You're like, your fucking mind's just like
gone. Yeah.
Your parents are freaked out. I'm just sitting there like, fuck.
You're probably more worried about your mom than even yourself.
Yeah, I was more worried about I was like, man, let's go. And then so like, word got out, man. I called my supervisor, man, and obviously word got out. Then everyone knew. The leadership knew. Once leadership knew, the whole entire base knew, and both bases. It was Malmstrom and my guard unit.
Damn.
So both knew it. It was just news going around, and I just kind of sat there in the bed, like, damn, like. Waiting for the doctor to come in. So after 6-7 hours, doctor came in finally, and I was like, hey,
what
doc.
a long 6 or 7 hours.
Yeah, exactly, right? Literally, I was doing nothing, just getting tests done, and just like, you know, doctor
Just
came
like a
in.
blink of an eye, your
Yeah,
life's just changed completely.
yeah. It's all you can think about when you're sitting there in that bed. You're just like, what next? You know, like, you know, first thing that came out was like, I gotta go work out, man. You know, it's a stressful situation. In those situations, I go train. You know,
Yeah,
get my mind off
same.
it, man. So doctor came in. He's like, he walked in and he's like, Mr. Cable. I was like, I think I made a joke saying it was what did I say it was? I made a joke to him, and he laughed it off. And then he asked me, he's like, so what are your plans for the next 6 months? And I was like, well, I was supposed to deploy. In about a month.
Damn.
And I was like, well, I'm deploying, sir. You know, he's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
I'm like,
not even
okay,
close.
I'm not, okay. And so, yeah, we talked about what I had or what I thought I had. At first, I thought I had what's called ALL. That's usually what kids under the age of 15 get.
Okay.
That's like AML is what I have, and that's very rare in younger kids. Usually, it's like ages 20, upper 20s to like 50s, 60s. Okay. So it's very rare that I was kind of right in the middle. So like when a 23-year-old got AML, doctors like, this is rare. Like they didn't know what to really expect at the time. You know, this is it's almost 10 years now. 8 years now.
How old are you right
now?
So
I'm 31 now.
Okay.
So yeah, the doctor that was had ALL, and that's common in common, but younger kids get it. So I went for about a week thinking I had ALL, and then I got a call about a week later, and the doctor's like, actually, you have AML. I'm like, well, shit, what does that mean? What does that mean?
Is that worse or better?
Yeah, I asked. I was like, is it worse or better? And I was like, well, I don't know if you can get a leukemia that's worse or better,
For sure.
And so I was like, all right, whatever, So I remember the doctor was like, all right, we're gonna go free. He's like, yeah, you should get your sperm frozen, and you should talk to this person, blah blah whatever. So I went and got my sperm frozen because obviously the chemotherapy and everything, like that might not work down there anymore. So I went and did that. And
how much are you thinking about that at this time? Are you thinking,
dude, it was crazy,
kids
man.
are over? Like, cause I want to get into your mind, cause I feel like it's really comparable to like me getting 12 years in prison. You're thinking my life's over. I'm never gonna have kids. I'm never gonna do this.
The kid thing. So what's crazy about the kid thing is,
and you got some beautiful kids now too.
Thank you. So what's crazy about thinking back, here and then till then, I got a call like a few months later, and they're like, your sperm sample didn't go through or didn't like work or whatever they said. They asked me, can you come in and get another, give them a sample, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, are you kidding me? I just went through all these rounds of chemo, now you want me to come back in?
Yeah.
Yeah, are you fucking kidding me? So like, I also went through like life and like not thinking I'd be able to have kids. So,
Damn.
Fast forward, I had a kid. So a pretty big miracle. But yeah, dude, what's going through my mind, man, was I'm young. I didn't quite even know what leukemia was. I'm like, all I thought was just beat this thing, get through it, and then continue my journey.
Were you asking the doctors, like,
training.
what's the chances I can beat this or something?
Oh, we did, and I think it was like 50-50. It was literally 50-50, man. They're like, should I go the chemotherapy route or should I go bone marrow transplant route? And it was like, they give me, the negatives and positives of both.
What'd you do?
And I chose first time around, I chose the chemotherapy. And so after chemotherapy, my first cycle of chemo, I had what's called a Hickman port put in my chest, and that's to help with all the IV antibiotics and chemotherapy.
Okay.
And they think that got infected. And when you have chemotherapy, it kills off your immune system, all your white blood cells, and all your cells in general. And so you have no immune system. And they think that it got infected. And after it got infected, I went to complete organ failure, like immediately. Like my mom had a video of me when I was trying to sleep, and just my lungs collapsed, just like I couldn't breathe.
Dude, I've seen some of those little clips of you in the hospital, man. It is not a pretty sight, man.
It's crazy, man.
It's crazy to look at that and see you now.
Thanks, man. So immediately went to ICU, went in coma, and doctors trying everything they can to get me back, to my body just functioning.
Yeah.
And after about 18 days, I had lost 60 pounds, but I had woken up from coma and came to. They think it's because they took out my port, and my body was kind of able. My body was able to kind of reproduce, and the cells were able to reproduce. And what happened? Well, because of all the training I did and whatnot, my muscles in my body was strong, and so I was able to fight.
Okay.
And
so literally training and stuff helps you with cancer.
Exactly, man.
Okay.
Yeah, the way I train, man. It's kind of why I preach health and fitness so much, is because it saved me not once but twice. I haven't got the second story yet.
Yeah, I know.
So, yeah, I woke up, man, and it was a pretty crazy scene. Myself just, on death's door, man.
And you woke up and when you saw your body, were you like, what the fuck happened?
Oh, yeah, it was weird, dude. I was like,
damn, tell me how that was.
Man, I woke up, man. It was the first time I'd cried. First time I'd cried in a long time.
I cried.
I saw it.
Still.
It's all right. It's all right, brother. Yeah. It's good for you. Yep. My wife told me that, at least.
She's just being nice. People make fun of me.
She was being nice. But no,
real quick, one thing that's crazy about this is when I was like going through my worst times ever in prison, I used to have to put myself in a situation like yours. And I would think about, like, literally, I would visualize like innocent, like, boys or girls that got cancer, did nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? If they did something, if that happened to them and they did nothing wrong, I just need to man the fuck up and do my time. I put myself here. But I would literally have to put myself in situations like that to get a different perspective on my life,
I hear you, man. I won't change the story yet, but I'll kind of get into that in a second.
No, yeah.
Woke up, man. I was my mom waited like a day or two before she showed me a picture of me, like how I was. And when she did, man, I was like, wow, I just like broke down. I couldn't believe it that I was still alive, dude. I was that close to, death. So when I woke up and saw that, I was like, all right, man, it was funny. I woke up and I had a catheter in. I was like, what the fuck? I just pee right now? Like, what's going on? I had a catheter in the front end and back end. And so I was like shitting myself.
I didn't know they had back catheters.
Yeah, dude. Cause when you're in the bed and whatnot, you got to shit. Like you just don't shit yourself. They put it in a tube, whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had one of both, man. It was gnarly, dude. It wasn't fun, man. That was actually probably not I want to say one of the worst experiences, but it wasn't a good one. It wasn't a good.
Probably ranks up there.
I actually had one twice now. That's fun. But
it's amazing.
Yeah, man. I was in the hospital for about another month and kind of recovered. And once I got out of the hospital, dude, I think the first day I went to the gym and started training.
No way.
I remember I laid on a bench. I was like, let's do some bench and chest. Laid on a bench, man, and the bar was heavy, bro. The 45-pound bar was like, I think I did like 2 reps. I was like, oh
with a bar.
God. The bar, dude. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I had like the whole time, man, I'm training. I had pick lines in each one of my arms, because I'm crazy and I'm like, I gotta work out.
Yeah.
And so like obviously I was in the hospital like every day, whatever, getting some type of blood or hydration or fluids of some sort.
God, how draining is that too, man?
Dude, it was brutal, man. But I was like, man, let's fucking go, dude. I kept looking in the mirror every day. I'm looking in the mirror. I'm like, I gotta just keep moving. And over time, I'll be back to where I was, just
that's what you're telling yourself?
Working. Yeah, every day, dude. It's hard, man. It's hard not to get down on yourself, dude.
For sure. No, I want you to share this too, because like I told you, my buddy's going through it right now. Like, there's a lot of people that are fighting with this same shit, and they need the whatever mental strength they get.
There's times where I was like trying to get out of bed. It was so hard, dude. You feel so bad for yourself, sorry for yourself. You're just like, just get up, man. Just fucking, you're not gonna get any better just laying in this bed, So I had help from my leadership too. They knew I was, mentally it was draining as fuck.
Sure.
So they call me and they're like, hey, you want to come up to the hill for, a couple hours, show your face, talk to some people, just come and hang out, man. But you don't have to be in uniform, nothing, just come on up, And I'm like, obviously you're like, fuck, I don't want to. But then like I get up there and I'm like just in an instant better mood just because I'm out doing shit, doing what I used to do, doing what I signed up to do,
Sure.
And so doing that and then training, man, I was like, all right. So that all helped me mentally and obviously physically. But before I knew it, I see the gains, dude, and I'm just like, all right, it's coming back. It's coming back.
The gains are coming.
The gains are coming. A lot of it, I give props to muscle memory, man. That shit is real, dude. Like I've been down a couple times. You had
doubled your body weight because I was looking at that one video you posted the other day, and like, what was the lowest weight you got to?
About 165-ish.
God, and it doesn't even look like you weigh 165.
Yeah, 165. Probably because of my legs.
Okay. Right.
165,
sure.
Man. I weighed before that, dude. I was 225.
Damn, yeah.
Maybe 230, but it was up there.
And you lost 60 pounds of straight muscle.
60 pounds straight of just fucking of muscle, man, and lost everything, dude. And I was grateful I was alive. It just
for sure
mentally just,
well, that's if you can have that perspective on life, you know what I'm saying? Because people can think that way, or you can not think that way. You know, you could think you have your life over and you got cancer,
gave up,
or you
man.
could think like, at least I got this.
Could have gave up
for sure.
I could have fucking. So I've never drank alcohol before. Never drank.
No way.
Never done drugs, dude.
Well, that shit'll do nice on you then, man.
And I could have gave up, man. I could have started drinking. I could have started smoking, doing all these drugs. I could have done anything, man.
I turned to numb pain.
I just, you know, I kind of embraced the pain because I knew how I felt mentally.
Wow.
And I was like, let's fucking deal with it. Let's go. And that turned into fuel for like just going to the gym and training, man, and just feeling good about myself, getting back on track, getting my nutrition up, and just feeling good, man. And after a while, dude, you know, I'm going through still multiple rounds of chemotherapy, and I remember my last round, the first time, it was now 2015, last round of chemotherapy, and I broke down because first of all, I was upset that I had to do another round because I was like, I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of feeling like this. I threw up like every day. Yeah. I'm not trying to run to the bathroom, just lose it. And I was just bawling because I was just so sick of just the chemo and the hospital, like the smell.
Sick and tired of being sick and tired.
The smell of the hospital, man. Just that was brutal. Just the hospital bed was brutal, man. It was all crazy. And you know, it was only just me. At this time, it was my last round of chemo, and it was kind of just me. I didn't want visitors. You know, I wasn't like, yeah, hey, you know, come visit me, or like my mom, like she needed to work. My stepdad needed to work. I was like, y'all just work. You know, but I was kind of alone, you know, so I kind of did that last round of chemo alone in the hospital. It was a little brutal, man, but got through it.
They fight the mental battles every day.
Yeah, man, I was just ready to get the fuck out, dude. It was crazy, man, yeah. Thinking back all the way in 2015, it was crazy, but no, I pushed through, man, got through it, and I remember it was like 2016. I had reached out to a buddy of mine, and they were doing CrossFit, and I was like, CrossFit looks fucking sweet. I watched The Fittest on Earth and watched Matt Frazier that year. Actually, he took second, Matt Frazier. And I watched that Netflix documentary, and I was like, that's so freaking cool. Like, I want to try that. And so I got into CrossFit, man. I switched up from powerlifting to CrossFit.
Okay.
And obviously, I'm a powerlifter at heart. I still bench, squat, deadlift. Let's go. Yeah. But I wanted to transition over to CrossFit to kind of be more fit,
yeah, for sure.
You know, instead of just strong, pick up heavy things, drop it, you know.
Yeah.
And so got into CrossFit, and CrossFit kind of helped save me, man. I grew up obviously a wrestler, and a lot of the workouts in CrossFit are, you know, aerobic capacity workouts, and it's kind of what wrestling is, man.
For sure.
And so I instantly fell in love with CrossFit, and so I've been doing it ever since. 2018. I put in I got an application from a buddy, and it was for the Titan Games with The Rock. I'm like, this looks cool.
With The Rock, yeah.
Yeah, and so I put an application in. I had my buddy, Paris Bread. Shout out to Fresh Breads Production.
Yeah, shout out.
He did a video for me back in 2018, and it took a few days. He edited it, and we turned it into NBC. And a week later, NBC called me saying that they loved my story and loved me, and they wanted me on the Titan Games. And I'm like, fuck, what the hell? Like, I'm like in shock. I'm like, what? It's like my story?
You're like, cancer to the Titan Games, right?
Yeah, Titan Games. And so...
Damn, so the second round happened after that even?
Yeah, I still haven't got to my second.
Damn.
So...
Little teaser right there. But
yeah, little tease, guys, little tease. So 2018...
Damn, bro, you've been through some shit, bro. Seriously.
Well, I'm still here.
Yeah,
let's go,
sure.
Man. Let's go.
Absolutely.
So 2018, I got invited to the combine for the Titan Games, and that was a blast, man. I came prepared, probably the best shape I've ever, you know, in my life. Besides now, of course.
Yeah, right.
But no, I came in ready to go, and so after I performed at the combine for the Titan Games, I did really well. And they called me like a month later saying, hey, you made the Titan Games. Congratulations. Like, we want you in this date. I'm like, oh, fuck, let's go. So super freaking pumped, man. It's just, I can't explain how I felt, but I was in LA for about
I feel like
a
you
month.
finally put that cancer away for good.
Yeah, and then just all the hard work is paying off, man.
Yeah.
You know? So like back in my head, I'm like, fuck, man, just keep it going, dude. Just keep going. So I was in LA for about a month while we shot Titan Games. It was an amazing experience. You guys can check it out, NBC. You guys can check it out. I won't spoil it.
All right, yeah, for sure.
No, season 1, episode 6. It was awesome.
Okay.
But right after Titan Games was over, I flew over to California to hang out with my dad for a little bit. I was also training. I was training like full time and getting ready for actually pre-deployment training.
Okay.
And so yeah, I was enjoying just kind of a little like vacay after Titan Games and kind of just chilling, relaxing, and training. And once I flew back to Montana, I then flew out to Texas and Mexico and just for pre-deployment training. And so I was training for about 2 weeks. And then we got ready to deploy overseas. And I deployed in January. I was in Germany for about a week.
Damn, so you be canceled into the Titan Games and then went back and deployed even.
Yep. I fought it, man. I fought it.
Wow.
I had a special code on me, so I couldn't deploy for the longest time. And then I finally was like, hey, I got through it, got beat up.
You're literally begging them to be like, let me
pretty
deploy,
much, man. Yeah, I got through it. Yeah, whatever, man. I was doing worked because they allowed me to deploy. And so,
do you get that? Do you have that feeling at all at this point? Like you're thinking, like now that it's all over with, you're like, now that I've been through this, I can get through anything.
Oh yeah,
okay.
man. Yeah, you see your life is so different, man.
Yeah.
People don't agree with it. Some people don't. Some people love you. Some people hate you. You know? Some people thought that I used it for publicity. For
those people suck.
Dude, yeah. I heard it. I'm like, instantly, I'm just like, fucking give me. I don't like you.
Those are the lames of all lames on earth, bro.
I'm like, anyway, so. Yeah, that still kind of hits a certain way when I say that or hear that. I'm like, are you kidding me, man?
Yeah.
But yeah, January 6th, I deployed overseas, and right when I took a step off the plane, I felt off.
Damn, no way.
And so a couple weeks go by, and I'm still training really hard, dude. But like our shifts were like 16-hour shifts on top of trying to train and trying to sleep. And after a couple weeks of doing that, I'm like, my body's starting to get sore again, and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Why can't I do this? Or why can't I hit this workout like I used to? Like I'm doing the CrossFit Open, and I felt really good going into it. Like I'm gonna fucking kill it, do really well. And like my scores weren't anything where they should have been. I'm like, I couldn't breathe while I was over there. I thought it was the air quality over there, and the air quality is terrible, but it shouldn't have been how I was feeling. And so yeah, like it was like 3 months go by, and I finally am like, I gotta go see a doctor. And I like that.
Are you thinking it's
the
cancer?
Night before, I was like, it's back.
No way. You thought so?
I felt the same as I did.
Oh my God.
6 years prior.
How did you feel that night?
I texted my dad. And I was like, Dad, I think my cancer's back. All he said was, "Fuck." That's all he said. That's all he said. And I said, well, we're gonna find out tomorrow. So, I got off a shift, and right after shift, I got off at like 8 a.m. or 8 or 8:30, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to the doctors, And so everyone on base knew my story. They watched my Titan Games. It was weird going over there after Titan Games because they're like, oh, you're a celebrity. I'm like, no, I'm not. Get out of here. I'm like, no, I'm not. Just come on.
Like, I'm just a jack dude that beat cancer.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's fucking this dude. But yeah, so like everyone knew my story. They knew I had cancer before. So like I went in there and got tested. I was lucky that there was a civilian oncologist who was over there probably as a guardsman. He was probably just deployed over there, out in medical. And so I was lucky that we had him. He was able to test my blood, and after he tested it, man, he found like 85% leukemic cells in my body, and he was like, "You need to get out of here yesterday, dude."
What are you thinking at this point? Are you thinking?
So
fuck this,
he sat
I'm
me
done?
down. It was funny because he sat me down. He's just talking normal. He's like, "Well, how you feeling? How you feeling?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm all right, man. I feel kind of sore." He's like, "Oh, yeah, yeah." Like small talk, like nothing crazy. And then out of nowhere, he's like, "Well, your body has 85%." Like, whoa.
Damn.
He's like, "We need to get you out of here now." Like yesterday, I'm like, "Shit, you couldn't have started off with that."
Yeah. Do you still have the mindset I got to beat this time, or are you like, fuck this?
I just same mindset, dude. I was like, fuck, you have to like completely change your mindset because you have to go through some shit, man. Especially with all the hard work you just fucking put into your body and your endurance, your muscle endurance, your strength. You put all this shit in your body, and now you know. And now I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
So, yeah, they send me home, man, like immediately, and I had like like leadership on base. They were like, holy shit, like they're like, are you kidding me? He's relapsed. And so, I had a bunch of like higher ups come, say bye to me, and it's pretty brutal, man. And having to say goodbye to your your team and whatnot. It's like,
yeah,
dude, should be out here with you guys, But yeah, I got medevac back to.
It's crazy you're fighting cancer for the second time and you're worried about like saying bye to your team and shit. You know what I'm saying? I would have been like, I'm out. I'm probably not even said bye. You know what I mean? Like, I need to go work on myself and figure my shit out, you know?
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
cool,
man.
though.
But no, I'm still close to a lot of them, man. I'm still close to a lot of them. We talk all the time. I have some buddies in Hawaii I was deployed out there with, and just, but yeah, so I got medevac back to Walter Reed, which is in Maryland, and I was there for about 40 plus days. They had to get me back into remission, so they had to give me some crazy, I don't even remember the chemo was called, but hardcore chemo that I haven't even taken yet.
Damn.
And it, so through all the chemo sessions, everything I've been through, my heart's taken a big toll. So like, at Walter Reed, I got a blood clot in my heart, and not only did they find a blood clot, but my left ventricle was damaged like 60% or something. So they wanted me on like all this heart medication that I don't take, by the way.
Really?
Nope, I don't take heart medication or anything like that. I just train, man, and my heart's pretty freaking solid right now.
Yeah.
From all the training I do. It's one of those things where, you know, you can listen to some doctors, you know, they want you to take this medication, but like fitness, man, I'm telling you. But anyways, so I was at Walter Reed 40 plus days, and then I was from Montana, but I wanted to move out here to Arizona because of the Mayo Clinic. And so I started treatment out here, moved to Peoria, Arizona, and been out here ever since. But a couple chemo sessions in, before I chose, because I had to do it.
You're the coolest dude I've met from the west side of Phoenix. I don't know any people I like on the west side of Phoenix.
Let's go. Two chemo sessions in, well, we already decided we're doing a bone marrow transplant this time. So no more chemo, is going to be bone marrow transplant. I was like, because I had to be, because obviously, if I didn't get the transplant, or if I just did chemo the first time and that didn't work. So now I was like, all right, transplant.
The other one, yeah.
Well, you have to, or you're pretty much
okay.
It's like it's gonna come back if I don't. You know what I'm saying? Because it will. So I was like, all right, I guess I gotta do transplant. So pretty much get my mind ready for that. I was training still every day. I had chemotherapy, and my dumbass still training hard as fuck.
No way.
Probably why I almost died. So
oh, seriously.
But no, the second time around, man, I went in. I woke up with this pretty nasty headache. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I'm like, let's go train. So I went and I remember that morning I did some heavy cleans. I was doing I think at that time I was trying to come back from where, you know, obviously having all the rounds of chemo and whatnot from Walter Reed and whatnot. I was trying to get back my strength, and I was doing like a clean workout, and I hit like 305 hang clean or something for double. And I was like, fuck, I'm feeling strong. But I remember how I had this headache. I'm like, why do I have this headache, man? So like that night, I'm like, fuck. At this time, I'm about to have Ensley come here to help me through my transplant. My wife now, she was my girlfriend at the time. Actually, I don't even know if we were dating at the time, honestly, but we had met through the Titan Games.
Okay.
And that's a whole other story in itself. But
maybe round 2 when you come back from Florida.
Yeah, round 2, let's go. Well, I'm moving to Florida, be close to her family too. So, yeah, so Ensley came and picked me up from the air, or no, sorry, I picked her up from the airport because she came to Arizona. And that night, I remember I was in bed, just so much pain. I remember I'd sit up, and I was like, my fucking head hurt so bad. I was like, fucking tears coming out of my eyes because it hurt. I'm like, what's going on? And Ensley's like, I'm taking you to the ER right now. So we go to the ER, and the only thing I really remember is like sitting down for like a split second while they're like looking at my nose, you know, with a flashlight, and then all of a sudden, kind of blank. But so what happened was, I was in so much pain, I was like in shock. But I got this fungal infection. I don't even know the proper term from it of it, but this fungal infection that was like going up around my eye, about to start attacking my brain. But it was nasty, and I went to the ICU, and I was back in coma again. And they were telling my family that I wasn't gonna make it. They're like, he's not gonna fucking make it. Like, he has no white blood cells.
This ain't no 50-50 chances at these.
Yeah, they're like, you're not gonna make it. And so I had no white blood cells to fight off of anything. So I'm like, they're like, oh, fuck. Like they shot me up with white blood cell fertilizer. It was like white blood cells, and my white blood cells shot up to like 8 or something. And like, if it was an hour later, they would have removed my eye. I would have lost my eye, and then they would have, who knows what would have happened.
No way.
Because it shot up the way it did, as fast as it did, they were able to like start surgery immediately. And so I had 5 surgeries in 7 days. while I had, it was insane. I just had chemotherapy. Oh my God.
Are you just bawling every day and this shit, just thinking, fuck my life?
Dude, so I hadn't woken up yet, but
okay.
like there's videos I think I even have on Instagram of me with a tube in and on a ventilator and everything. It was crazy. And I woke up, man, and I think I was just deployed, or I don't know what was going on, but what I saw was like I was captured, and I was like, because I just was in coma, right? So I thought I was waking up, and I'm like fucking like I was trying to pull out my tube, almost killing myself because I got a hold of it a couple times, and I thought I was like captured or whatever I thought. Because I was on so many drugs, you know. Yeah. I'm just like freaking out every time. Like they try to wake me up. It was insane. So I tied my wrist down. I finally woke up and like I looked around and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me again?" You know.
At this point, you're probably thinking, "I don't know what's worse, if I got captured or if I got cancer."
Exactly, man. Yeah, it was crazy. And so I remember the voices of Ensley and my mom are kind of what calmed me down. But woke up and I was like, "Well, it fucking happened again, dude." Like there was a nurse who was there who saw me, and I kind of got up. And she couldn't believe I was alive. She's like, she was just shocked that I was alive because she's like, this happens to people who don't go through chemotherapy or go what you're going through, and they don't make it. I'm like, I was like, look at her. I'm just like, I don't fucking know, dude. I don't know. You know, fucking will the fight, man, and survive, man. But yeah, I was in the hospital. I had to do one more surgery. On my sinuses. They had to scrape out all the extra shit that was in there. Okay. And it was a brutal surgery, dude. And it actually it wiped me out for a few weeks, almost like maybe a month or two. But I got out of the hospital and I was kind of just recovering. After a heavy surgery like that, like your body just is like trying to recover and it's like fucking just beat down. So it took like a month or two before it really felt decent again. And in this time, I'm trying to train a little bit too to get ready for my bone marrow transplant because everything that happened, we had to push my date back. And so I had to kind of get my body ready for the transplant. So did what I could in the gym to get my body and my organs strong again.
Yeah. Did you feel better after the transplant happened instantly, or is it not? It does not work like that.
No. Oh God, no. So we'll fast forward a little bit to my transplant date. I had my transplant, and I'm in the hospital for about 40 days. And so what they do, you have to go through another nasty round of chemotherapy to kill off all your cells because you're putting someone else's cells in you, bone marrow. So you're getting brand new DNA. So my blood changed, everything. It was crazy.
Really? Wow, I didn't know that.
And so after my transplant, I was in the hospital kind of recovering. Then that's when Ensley was my caregiver, and she... they say about 100+ days that you're gonna need someone to literally take care of you like a baby. If not, like you will die if you miss medication, anything, you will die 100%. And so Ensley, the pressure on Ensley. You gotta do this time. You cannot
Don't forget my meds. If you do, you're gonna kill me.
Yeah, I will die. And so it ended up she took care of me for about almost fucking 200 days or so. But in that time, my blood was not reproducing. And actually 11 months post-transplant, my blood did not reproduce. So we're going through all these different treatments, therapies, and whatnot to try and figure it out. They finally, the last thing before, they would have had to give me another transplant. I had to, because my blood wasn't reproducing. And so like imagine like you, a healthy male, hemoglobin's like 13 to 14. Mine was at 6 to 7, and that was always dropping unless they gave me another transfusion or two. So I was getting transfusions twice a week, and that was just to keep me about half a tank.
Wow.
And so I was trying to train, do what I could, but I couldn't do any cardio. It was all strength training. And for 11 months, and then finally I was able to, I did a procedure is called plasmapheresis, and that's where they take out my plasma and blood out of one arm, put it through a machine, spins out, and puts new plasma in my other arm. Jesus. And I did that for about a month and a half, and it was like 2 or 3 times a week. And
so how long ago did you finish your second round? Pretty recently. That was
2019, September 2019.
Damn,
was
2.5, 3 years ago?
Yeah, it was my transplant date, and then another like year after that, I still wasn't even 100%.
Wow.
And then after my blood started reproducing, I did notice I had chronic GVHD, which GVHD is short for graft versus host disease, and that's where, in short, it's where your new DNA sees your old DNA is foreign, so it attacks itself, it attacks your body, attacks your organs, attacks your joints. So like my joints get really tight, they get sore. I get that in my hips, I get that in my ankles. It's shit that and same in my like lungs or your organs, attacks your organs too. So I'm on still medication that is to prevent, your body doing that. And so while I'm on all this medication still, sometimes it affects me. Like I'll get really tired, or I'll feel off. I'm just like, I hate it, dude. So like every day, I'm like, get up and go work out.
Yeah,
it's all mentally. It's all mental to me.
Sure.
I'm like, I feel like shit, but I guess I'm gonna go work out.
Did you get signed with First Form after that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And so, so blood started reproducing. Finally, and then I did I did competition like a week later, and did a CrossFit competition because I'm a crazy ass.
Yeah.
And
how fulfilling is that doing the competition after you?
It was great, man. It was a pretty amazing, dude. Because I was like, my blood's working. I can fucking breathe again while I'm working out. To a point in CrossFit, you can kind of breathe. But no, it was great, man. It felt really good, and I was able to kind of get back on track again. And so the last like couple years, 2 years now, year and a half, I've been training pretty freaking hard just to
just for life.
Yeah, life right now. Trying to figure out what the next step
last
is,
thing
dude.
to like ended up right here. I just want to get into like how like mentally it is for you right now, knowing that you've been through that stuff, and how much better. Because I always say this, like prisoners, like ex-inmates and stuff, we have an advantage on the rest of the world from the shits we've been through. Like how much easier is it for you to get through stuff right now in life as it is knowing that you've been through all that shit? So you're probably thinking like, can't shit really faze me anymore, right? And do you use that to your advantage now? And we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah. No, man. Mentally, I use what I've been through as fuel, and I just the last couple of years, I know that my story helps people a lot, and so I use not only my experience, but everything I do in the gym to help others as well, because I know how hard it can be. Doesn't matter what you're going through, it doesn't have to be cancer. It could be anything, man. It could, for all my brothers and sisters who've like gone in the military, even who've lost a limb or something, or mentally there's PTSD, whatever. Every day it's the same, man. Every day I know fucking physical fitness really helps you mentally, not only obviously physically, but mentally it helps.
Mentally is the biggest thing, yeah.
And so biggest thing for me is keeping my mind strong, and know that if I keep working, man, it's only gonna get easier, but I'll be able to do a lot more. And so every day I wake up and I use the gym as fuel, man, and just stay on the grind.
Yeah, that's right.
What was I gonna say?
Dude, what an inspirational story you
Thanks,
have, man.
man.
Like, seriously, it's crazy. I feel, I look at you and feel bad that you had to go through all this stuff, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, it helps other people that are struggling through shit right there, man. So, and that's why, like, God put you through all that stuff so you can help other people through that shit themselves, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dude, thank you for being here. Like, it's crazy how inspirational and just, man, it gives me new gratitude for my life. Like, it puts life into perspective for me.
Appreciate it.
No joke. Wish you well in Florida, and I do want to have you back for round 2 when you get back, because we didn't even have time to get into all the good stuff after that and stuff too. But it's your story's fascinating. So thank you again for being here. I'm so glad that God saved your life, man, so you can help people. And coming from those pictures, man, to seeing where you are now, dude, it's like, Jesus Christ, man, anything is possible.
Thanks, man.
So thank you again for being here, Mr. Matt Cable, and we'll put all your links and stuff so everybody can find you with the show. And thank you again for being here. Yeah, thank you everybody else for tuning in to another episode of Roll Call with Chappie. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe wherever you get your podcast and leave us some feedback. We would love to know what you think. You can find everything discussed in this episode and more in our show notes below or petermeyerhoff.com. I am Peter Meyerhoff, and you've been listening to the Roll Call with Chappie podcast.